Welcome to Big Life Weekly Series, where we empower high achievers to break free from limits, unlock their natural potential, and live a big life. I'm your host, Robert Acosta, and each week we will explore the strategies, mindsets, and tools you need to thrive, not just in your professional career, but in every aspect of your life. Whether you're a leader looking for a better balanced life, an entrepreneur aiming for sustainable success, or someone ready to take the next step toward your best self, this podcast is your space to grow, reflect, and take action. Let's dive into today's episode. Hello, I'm Robert Acosta. I'm with John Bassford from Lateral Solutions in Washington, D.C., USA. Welcome, John.
Thanks for having me, Robert.
Let's jump right in and start showcasing your business. So, John, can you give us a 90-second overview of what your business does and why you got into it?
Sure. So what we do is we come into an organization and help them get clarity and knowledge and data about where that organization is in the moment so they can fix the holes and gaps and areas that are hindering their growth to truly take things to the next level.
Right. And how do you start that? Why you started to do that?
Sure. So my career has been in internal operations, admin and finance roles, as well as cross-departmental COO roles. As a consultant, I moved into launching operations for organizations and staying on as a fractional COO. But doing that type of work, I was limited, right? There's only so many clients I can help. I was limited in my scope and my reach, and I really wanted to help more clients. So I started thinking about what it is I do as a fractional COO in that analysis piece, that discovery piece, and truly bringing a fresh eye to things, right? Helping people look beyond habits, blind spots, fear, and truly tackle their operations in a different way is the skill set I was bringing to the table, as well as efficiency and effectiveness for those operations. And so I created a process that allows us to, in a short amount of time, come in, analyze those organizations, which working as a W-2 for them would take me 6 to 18 months to kind of really go through each department. This streamlines that process down, so we're able to go in a lot quicker and analyze the organization and provide a roadmap, a 12-month growth roadmap for them to take things to the next level.
Right. Okay. So I guess I see that you are taking into consideration the people. So from a personal or human standpoint of view, you see the process and see the blind spots from people to the process, right? And that's the way you can help them enhance and have better results, right?
Yeah, we're looking at the leadership, how they make decisions, how they view the organization, and with risk capacity, that sort of aspect. Looking at the culture of the staff, looking at the strength and maturity of the operations, as well as the efficiency of the operations. So we're really looking at the organization from a really complete way of analyzing everything, and we take that, bring it all together, analyze it, and helps us provide that growth plan for the company to truly make some long-lasting changes and growth.
Right. So what would you say about what you enjoy most about the work you do in this business consulting industry, I would say?
Yeah, I would, if you to answer it a slightly different way, if I were to talk about my purpose, it's finding ways to utilize my strengths, my abilities, my intellect to help other organizations and individuals grow. And what I've really found is that my diverse knowledge of things and my ability to analyze and be critical from a critical thinking standpoint, not judgmental standpoint, but bringing that analysis piece to organizations, to the operations of businesses and everything is really where my strengths lie. And then also be able to wrap that around strategy, around empathy, around culture. And so building this package of the audits and the execution of that is really a great way for me to utilize my strengths and ability to truly help individuals and organizations grow.
Yeah, and that's really exciting that you know that you have something that you can contribute, and it's your talent and it's natural. You don't need to study to go and teach people, but so it's natural wherever you are. So how do you define success in the work you do?
I would define success by truly my ability to make an impact, right? That's what my goal is. And obviously in what I do and how I do it, there's a number of different ways that can happen. You know, sometimes I'm helping to lighten the load for the CEO. Sometimes I'm helping to grow revenue. Sometimes I'm helping to streamline operations. Sometimes I'm helping to improve their culture. And so there isn't a one-size-fits-all solution for what I do and who I help. But the main thing is I want to make an impact in some way, shape, or form. You know, even if I'm doing a workshop or I'm doing a keynote talk, right? The goal is to reach people and to inspire them and to help them do better.
Right. So I'm just curious, what is the biggest problem or challenge you see in your industry, your consulting, you're in the consulting industry, I say, and how are you solving that for yourself, your clients, colleagues, or your referral partners?
Sure. So I think one of the biggest things that I am seeing in the consulting world, and especially other companies that are focusing on growth the way I do, you know, we're an operations company, but we're a growth-focused company, and a lot of people that play in my space of being a growth company, they tend to come in with a pre-prescribed solution. You know, they a lot of people do audits of various shapes and sizes, but no matter what that audit says, they're going to help you with ad sales. They're going to help you with salespeople. They're going to help you with marketing. They're going to help you with hiring your next COO, whatever it may be. So they come into the engagement, and even though they do this discovery and audit process, they already know the product they're going to provide to you. Whereas ours is truly, and that's one of the frustrations that I had with how things were being done and want to do it differently, is we're coming in agnostic. You know, we're coming in not saying, hey, this is how we're going to help your company. We're going to help you, you know, improve your culture. We're going to help you improve your sales. We're going to help you improve your efficiency. We don't know yet. But the important part of what we do, the thoroughness of our audit allows us to do that deep dive to figure out where those holes and gaps are. And that's where we're going to focus, and that's where we're going to help you improve.
Yeah, I know you mentioned that there's not one fit for all, so you have different sorts of clients, but who is your ideal client and what significant outcomes can they expect when they work with you?
Sure. So I would say our ideal client avatar is that growing company in that $5 to $30 million range. We absolutely can help hire. We can help lower. I would say more than anything, it's more of a psychological profile. It's absolutely owners and CEOs who want to grow, who want to take things to the next level. Sometimes it's a matter of wanting that, having that ambition, that desire, but not quite knowing how to get there. Or, hey, I want to make sure that my framework, my foundation is correct. Because I know if we take things to the next level, we're going to make sure it doesn't break. A lot of people, they don't focus on the foundation, the operational foundation. When they go to the next level, they hit a ceiling and sometimes even, you know, drop back down because their processes and procedures just weren't able to sustain that. So that's one aspect. And, you know, sometimes we work with CEOs who come to us and say, I just don't know what I don't know. I know something's not working right, and I just don't know what that is. And so, again, we help them discover that. But we work with nonprofits, startups, small businesses. Because we're operationally focused and growth focused, we are fairly industry agnostic. But that $5 to $30 million range is probably our sweet spot.
Right. Of course, everybody wants to grow, but really you have to be committed. It's not just a wishful thinking. So you need to detect that company, that person, that CEO really wants. It's instrumental for going to the next level and really going to put the work. Otherwise, it's just going to be just a wishful thinking, and you can fail, right?
Yeah, and there are times I'm on the call with someone and they're like, you know what, this is a family-owned business. We've been doing the same thing the same way for 50 years and it works just fine. I'm like, okay, great. You are not an ideal client for me. Because if that's the mentality, then that's not. So I would push back a little bit and say that not every company is looking to grow in any kind of substantial way, right? In an intentional way, as long as they're keeping above inflation, whatever it may be, might suit them. But I can kind of tell from an initial conversation usually how they just describe their operations, how they describe the organization. Do they have that? Maybe they don't have a full growth mindset yet, but might have that capacity to create one. And I'll be able to tell that usually pretty quickly based on how they answer things and how they view their company.
Right. Well, you know how nowadays more people are actively seeking solutions to achieve better outcomes. So, what makes you unique in the way you help them achieve those outcomes?
Yeah, I would say, even through my W-2 work and throughout my career is just, being an operations person, you are truly that jack of all trades person. I oversee legal, HR, finance, accounting, tech, cross-departmental marketing a lot of times. So I really got to have a really diverse amount of knowledge. And I can't know everything about everything, but I got to know enough about everything to know how to ask the right questions and dive into things and troubleshoot. And so that's really been a hallmark of my career. So we certainly bring that into the audit process as well, where we're looking at different facets of your business and your organization. Our strength and maturity audit for your operations, we cover 57 different areas, from your governance to your accounting to your market position to your HR practices. So we're looking at everything, and obviously we can't. It's not extremely deep. We have to keep it high level somewhat to be able to get through it, or it would take 2 years. But the process allows us to get enough information from these bits and pieces that really helps us kind of analyze those holes and gaps. And again, the important part, data is important and having the information, but what you do with it is even more important. And so that's why we don't just do the audit process and hand them reports. We provide a growth plan and then stay with the client, for 3 months total, 6 months total, 12 months total, depending on what they need and whether or not they have someone in an operational role. But we stay with them to truly help make sure that they're executing on that growth plan and helping them avoid pitfalls and being strategic in how they do it.
Well, with your extensive experience and the variety of clients you have had, let me ask you this. What's the strangest or funniest incident that you have experienced while working in your business consulting? Is there something that you can share with us?
Strangest. I gotta think about that one. That was
or surprised in something. Yeah. Surprises how you didn't expect.
That's a question I don't often get. So that's a good one. I think for me the biggest surprise and again, this isn't so much shocking me, but for the business owner, organizational leaders, is there are so many times that the leaders think X about their organization, right? They think this is the problem. They think this is what they're good at. The vast majority of time, it's the complete opposite, right? There's so many blind spots. There's so much bias. There's so many habits that exist. Is that the biggest shock is just truly like kind of how dumbfounded they feel when we're kind of like remove the blinders and like this is your problem. We're like, man, I never would have guessed that. I thought it was X, Y, and Z. I thought we were good here. But again, it just kind of showcases the psychology. Organizations run by humans are creatures of habit and bias and everything else. And it really just goes to showcase that time and time again of because of that kind of natural human nature, that our organizations get infused with that as well, and helping people pull away the onion, if you will, and truly being able to look at the organization from a different way is mind-blowing.
Yeah, I think identify your blind spot are really very, very important. So what do you see as the coming trends within your business or within the industry, the consulting industry, and how are you staying on top of that?
Sure. So, I think anyone in any industry, AI is here to stay. And I think I'm not someone who believes that AI is going to replace me or what I do. I think it's not going to do that for a majority of industries and professionals. But I think the thing that has to take place is utilizing AI. What are the right ways to utilize that so that, I can give a book, a 200-page book for AI to read and summarize in 45 seconds, right? And boil it down to, and so just imagine, when we're assessing these companies, part of what we are doing is utilizing AI to decipher all of the data. Not that we can't do it ourselves, but that's part of the way we're able to shorten the time frame of this not being a 6 to 12 month audit process, but it being in 2 to 4 weeks, is using AI to truly help us parse the data, use best practices, research quicker and easier about best industry standards for that particular industry. So again, that's how I'm applying to my business, but I think everyone's really got to think about how they can utilize AI to shorten the learning curve, shorten the time they're working on things, and embrace it. If you run from it, you'll eventually get lapped. But embracing AI, embracing technology, and finding the best way to utilize it in your organization.
Yeah, I believe people are not going to be replaced by AI, but by people utilizing AI, right? By other people that really leveraging AI. So let me ask you this: what is the biggest failure, or let's frame it as a challenge that you have faced to this point in your life, and how has that shaped the way you do business?
Sure. I guess I'll talk about an opportunity challenge, right? I think there's two different ways of looking at that. Is when I was leaving my first job into my second role, which is where I really kind of solidified myself as an operations professional. It was a big jump for me. It was going to a new city, although not far away, but it was going from Baltimore to DC, which is quite a big move. It was working in downtown DC and working for a cutting edge trade association. There was a lot at play. Also was a startup, and there's a lot of risk involved in that. And so that was something I really had to wrestle with and figure out what was the right move for me. And I saw the future. I saw the challenge there of not it turning bad, but what I could do with my career by working in this role and helping this organization. A lot of people thought I was dumb. I had a great job making more money and having more responsibility, but I saw the opportunity for this. So that's a challenge I had that I had to overcome and did, and it really made a huge difference in my career. A time looking back at my career where I would say that I didn't necessarily make the right decision in the right amount of time. I was working for an organization. I was brought in as a change agent from an operational COO standpoint, and I made a lot of changes really, really quickly. I went from department by department, rebuilding the organization. It had been, I think, almost 3 years in the red at this point, had just laid off half their staff and really needed a lot of changes, which again is kind of my expertise. But the challenge I came across was there came a point in where what I wanted to do and how I wanted to continue to change the organization was starting to butt heads with the CEO and founder. And, it created, it wasn't the best environment. And again, he's a serial entrepreneur, a visionary guy. So I don't want to take anything away from him, but I think just what I was doing and how I was doing it, there just came a point in that journey where what I wanted to do was just a step too far. And again, it was nothing crazy. It literally was changing, one aspect was changing to video content, so nothing crazy. But I wish I would have recognized that in that moment. And, part of being in operations, part of being in management is managing down, but also managing up. And I think I had a responsibility there to kind of really have a very honest conversation with the CEO about where we were and where I want to take the organization, and to see if we were still aligned. And if we weren't, find out the best way to transition that. But when that doesn't happen, there are things that happen, and we eventually parted ways. But that doesn't happen without, sometimes some disagreements and I don't want to call it bad blood. I don't think it ever got that bad, but there's just things that happen, and I wish I would have managed that situation, even though me in the number two spot. I wish I would have managed that relationship with the CEO and founder a lot differently.
Yeah, well, everything is a learning, right? That's why we are where we are, because we
Right.
have those challenges and those moments that we learn. Sometimes we learn more. I would say we learn more through our failures than through our good things that we do, because the things that you do good, well, there's not much to grow and not much to learn. So let me ask you this: what advice would you give to someone just starting within the business consulting industry?
Don't give up. That's the find your niche, find your secret sauce, that superpower you bring to the world. What skill sets you've had throughout your career, and quite frankly that you enjoy doing. I think that's a lot of times missed. To last in entrepreneurship, to last in consulting, there's going to be ups and downs. And if this is not something that you feel passionate about, that you have some purpose behind, you have some commitment behind, it's too easy to give up when times get rough. But find your niche, find that superpower, find that uniqueness that you bring, and you're able to help people, and just find different ways to scale that. As I mentioned earlier, I started out more as much more of a fractional COO, kind of embedded in organizations. I think the most clients I had at one point was 5. But again, it was limiting, and I wanted to help more. I found a way to deliver my uniqueness and my skill set. But then I got to a point where but I want to grow, and I want to help more people. I want to help more organizations. And so I had to make a transition, and that transition happened over 2024, which was a slow process. I brought in less money in 2024 than I had in my previous 10 years as a professional. So there's going to be ups and downs, and so kind of rambling here a little bit, but find your niche, find your purpose in that, find ways to scale it, and be passionate about it to where you can exist through the ups and downs of this journey.
Well, that is an amazing advice. Thank you, John. So let's talk about the future. What is the next growth area for you personally and for your business?
Sure. So we're getting ready to launch a big marketing campaign right now for this audit process. It's something that I've done, with my fractional COO clients, but we're bringing it to the market in a bigger way, and we're probably going to start that campaign next week, is my guess. We're wrapping up a few things, but that's the big piece. And then coming off my book launch, which happened in February, I also shot a TEDx in February that hopefully will be released the next few months here. But utilizing both of those as well to really increase my keynote speaking, as well as executive workshops. That's something that I believe, taking my book, taking my skill set, taking my experience, and delivering that to executives, teams, etc., in kind of that executive workshop style, could be very meaningful and impactful, helping them innovate, grow, and change. And so those kind of my 3 big pillars over the next 6 to 12 months is getting all of those, the marketing for that dialed in, and getting those services out there, and start making a bigger impact.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Just say it at the end. That is connected to the impact that you want to make, right? That's amazing. So let me ask you this funny question. If you could have lunch with one person, living or dead, who would it be and why?
I'm going to say someone who's still living. I'm going to say Gary Vaynerchuk. For those who may not know who he is, his story was he worked for his parents' liquor and beer store in the Northeast, helped grow that I think 5x where they had it through taking it online and doing marketing, etc. And he's now built multi-million-dollar brands, both his personal brand as well as marketing in media and all kinds of things. And I'd call him an influencer as well. Like most of the entrepreneur gurus that are out there, they do a lot of influence talks on social media, that sort of thing. But he has a different way of delivering it. He talks so much about how leaders have to care about their employees versus dictating to their employees. He talks about how much wealth is available in this world, and someone making $400,000 is a lot of money versus some other gurus who are like, if you're not making $1 billion, you're a loser. He doesn't use those terms loser. He doesn't talk in the same way as some of the other gurus do. And I've actually been a fan of his before he was famous for a wine vlog that he had. And I'd love to sit down and talk with him and share ideas about leadership, about management, about entrepreneurship, and even tell my stories of how I was connected to him, almost 25 years ago now, when I was first exposed to him in a very different capacity. But that'd be the one I'd choose.
Yeah, I admire him. I think he's really inspiring, and that's the way leadership has to go. It's not a dictatorial, but it's something that you inspire people to do with your example. And I think he's done it beautifully across the board, I would say, right? So, John, how can people best contact you if they'd like to work with you or discuss these referral partnerships?
Yeah, so my website is www.think-lateral.com. But one of the quickest and easiest ways to get a hold of me right now is if you would like a PDF version of the first chapter of my book. If you're in the U.S., you can text chapter to 33777. You'll go through some prompts, and we'll be able to email you the PDF version of the first chapter. But otherwise, yeah, go to my website, check out our services and what we do, and reach out to us there. And happy to always do an initial consult and get to learn about your business, your company, and see where I can help.
Excellent. So that was amazing. I really enjoyed our conversation. Thank you very much, John, for being a guest on the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining me on Big Life Weekly series. I hope today's episode gave you the insight, inspiration, and tools you need to move closer to the life you're meant to live. Remember, true success isn't just about what you achieve. It's about how you feel while you achieving it. If you found value in our conversation, please subscribe, leave a review, and share this episode with others who are ready to embrace their big life. Until next time, stay focused, keep growing, enjoy life, and break free.